a Game of the Year prediction. I'll bring up the list. Oh, and I will put it on. There you go, so you guys can see it now. Here's thanks to Game Informer, the game's coming out this year. So I'm not even gonna look at anything that was released before Elden Ring, because nothing that has come out this year has beaten that for sure. And Elden Ring was February, like the end of February 25th. It actually came out the same day as Adelaide. I think I found out it was pronounced Adelaide. Sophie too, which is interesting. So I'm gonna quick go through the list here. Triangle Strategy, big game. Some of these games
before Elden Ring came out.
These are after. These are after. Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy.
There's also I did see that some people were giving Tiny Tina's Wonderland really good scores. Tiny Tina's Wonderland is one too.
To be quite honest, I might as well not even include any games that, in my opinion at least, I might as well not include any games.
Oh yeah, there's that other game that came out a week before Elden Ring did. It's the first one in the series came out a week before. What was it? Bloodborne.
What was it? No. It was
Dark Souls 3.
I don't know if it was a Souls game.
Pretty sure it was another.
It was Breath of the Wild. It came out a week before Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the
Wild. And got fucked by Breath of the Wild. I mean, it didn't get fucked. I mean, Horizon.
That's just what it is known for.
Yeah, which is really funny. Horizon's an okay game. So honestly, I'm not even going to bother anything that's come out up to April 20th because nothing has, in my opinion, beats Elden Ring for. So I'm going to skip all that, actually. So Tiny Tina's Wonderland out. Some of that stuff out. Again, in terms of what will the 5 nominees be, not including the indie one, because I never know the indie one. I don't know the indie games that well. Could Tiny Tina's Wonderland be there? Maybe. What was the other one I mentioned? Triangle Strategy, probably not. Stranger of Paradise, maybe. I need to look through the list some more. Ghostwire Tokyo did come out, maybe. So, okay, in terms of Game of the Year, let's look through the rest of them and see if there's something where, like, maybe it'll beat it. Halt and Sacrifice, Delivers to the Moon, and some of these are re-releases. June is a fucking packed month now, especially Sonic Origins coming out. Yeah. June 23rd. So Sonic Origins, no. Capcom Fighting Collection looks cool, but no. Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, big game, but nope. DNF Duel, I'm excited for that game. That's the newest Arc System Fighting Works game. Digimon Survive got announced, unfortunately, for the same day that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 comes out. That was kind of some little news today, but nope, won't be that. Klonoa comes out in July. It's just a remake. Live Alive is a port or / remaster. I don't even know. Saints Row. I completely forgot about the new Saints Row until like 2 days ago when I realized it was delayed to August, and I was like, wow, yeah, I still don't know about that game. That to me. While the gameplay, they did show gameplay, and the gameplay doesn't look that bad. In terms of its identity, it looks like the type of game that would end up on Matt McMuscle's What Happened. Just
what game?
Saints Row, the new Saints Row.
Oh yeah. I could totally see that.
Mostly in terms of identity, like I said, like he did, like in his video, a good comparison, like the Devil May Cry one. He kind of talked about like, well, Devil May Cry got really good reviews, but what people know it for is like how much hate it got before it came out and how Dante didn't feel like Dante and blah 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 blah. Soul Hackers 2 looks awesome, but I don't think it's gonna be as notable as Persona 5 in terms of Atlas games. I think it'll be really good because Atlas JRPGs are, and I'm not trying to compare it to Persona, just because I know Shin Megami Tensei fans hate that. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to compare it to Persona. I'm just saying that since you're working with a similar team with similar stuff, you're going to get some similar results, which probably means that it's not necessarily going to be up to that, you know. Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero. Gotham Knights, that wasn't the one that was delayed.
It was Justice League Must Die or something like that.
That was the one that was delayed, yes. Gotham Knights won't get it. Forspoken won't get it. They look interesting, but no. I'm gonna come back to Starfield. Let's look in December. We still okay. So here's no. Let's stop. So that's everything. There's more, but they don't have release dates.
Don't have. Yeah,
so
none of them are.
We'll
confirmed.
get to that. There is a list of not release date games. Because like there's a picture of Bayonetta 3, and that's supposed to come out this year. Won't get it, but. I mean, I am excited for
another game that was supposed to technically come out this year that was delayed was Breath of the Wild 2, so that's also not part of the list anymore either.
That is yes. So that is one competitor, you know, that Elden Ring was just like fuck it. They lost that there. There's two games that I can think of without looking. God of War. We'll come back to that when we get to the games without the release date. Because I wouldn't be surprised if that gets delayed. Starfield. I need to talk about Starfield for a moment. This is a little off topic, but is anybody else worried about Starfield? Like, Bethesda
ever since I watched the two videos with Fallout 76 from Matt McMuscle, yeah, I am a little fucking scared for Starfield, considering how like.
While I still trust a lot of the development stuff in Bethesda, like I don't think the company's a total utter mess. I just think they make some really, really bad decisions and some really shady ones too.
Yeah.
I won't go into that. But Starfield, like think about Skyrim, right? Like what are some of the things how we knew? As a matter of fact, Skyrim was one of the first times in my life that I realized this game cannot suck. When it comes out, it's not gonna suck. It already looks like game of the next 3 years. It looked that good. That's the problem. They showed it off. We don't know fucking anything about Starfield, and sometimes that would be okay. Like Sonic Origins, right? Even if it's a remaster, was just not announced, but because it was delayed, but they just announced like release date and they're like next month, and they showed a bunch of shit and it's like that looks good. You know, Nintendo does this all the time with some games like that. They did it with Mario where they're like, here it is 6 months later. Starfield is a little different. It's huge. There's so many things you have to cover with this game. You would think they'd be showing it by now.
Yeah, did you see what they said about the planets for Starfield in terms of their size?
No.
I don't know how many planets are going to be in Starfield, but I'm pretty sure I heard that they said that each of the planets is going to be bigger than the map of Skyrim.
Let me get comments up.
And that is,
so if anybody's been commenting, I'm sorry I don't have them up right now.
I'm unsure of how many planets are going to be in that game. So if they are trying to make every single place you go to bigger than the map of Skyrim, I'm a little bit
yeah,
I don't know if I want to say because I'm scared of like what's going to be happening in terms of like quest quest quality. You're gonna get a ton of fetch quests with that kind of size to the game.
I think that you have to sacrifice a lot of quality for. I need to see this game. If I don't see this game by the end of the summer, at minimum, because really we should have seen some stuff by now, I'm going to write this one and say this is not going to be... No, it'll probably be a disaster. Because that's the thing. Like, Bethesda... So... This is the type of game that it's got all this hype because it's Bethesda, and even though like so Fallout 76 was a disaster, correct? Elder Scrolls Online maybe didn't meet the hype, but it's pretty good. Like, Elder Scrolls Online has a lot of great things in it. The thing with Fallout 76 is I think a lot of Bethesda fans are hanging on the fact that, well, it's kind of this like side thing and blah, 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 you know, so maybe this or that. Well, there used to be a time where they thought about that about Sonic the Hedgehog. There was a time when Sonic Adventure 2 came out, and then you had Sonic Heroes, and the next few games was like Riders, Shadow the Hedgehog, just kind of these weird games. And the next mainline one that had a lot of hype, even when they showed it off, people were like, this is going to be good, was Sonic 06. And the reason people still held on hope that it was hyped and that it was going to be good is because they wrote the other ones that weren't very good off as these weird side games. Don't make that same mistake, because now I said it a couple years ago on our stream, and I still think Elder Scrolls 6 is fine. Will there maybe be a couple controversies? Well, it wouldn't be modern-day Bethesda without the controversies. Will the game be fine? I don't think they're going to fuck that up. Starfield, they can afford to fuck up, because if they fuck this up, and it looks really, really bad, then basically people just say, well, the last 2 Bethesda games were very good, but one of them's a new IP that were over-ambitious, blah, blah, blah. I would not be surprised if Starfield, and that's the thing, is like, I don't think it'll just be like bad. Like, some people don't like Fallout 4. I think that this game is either boom or bust.
I think that this game is going to have, like, especially considering the fact that this is the first game that they're making using their new development engine, there is a lot of room for error.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know how Bethesda is with their games. Like, the games look really fucking good. They look really fucking good and they play fine, but there's a lot of bugs. And with a completely new creation engine, that's just going to be multiplied. That's just going to create all sorts of new areas for them to completely just basically lose track of themselves in.
I want to say right here, right now, on 420, blazing the date, I am officially worried about Starfield. And no, it is not because I, much like you, watched the Matt McMuscle's Fallout 76 video recently. It is just mostly because, like, with me,
it's also with the track record for the company.
The recent track record is one thing. I just think for me overall, I'm like, this is a big game. We should have seen something by now. Well, okay. Here's one last aspect to this. Okay, let's say in theory it's gonna get delayed. Well, here's another thing Bethesda likes to do. For them to delay Zelda to spring, that's one thing. Because Nintendo is like, would we like the holiday release? Yes, but it's not the be-all, end-all. Bethesda loves the holiday release. They are like, we have to get this out in November. That's something Fallout 76 will tell you. Instead of delaying that fucking game for another year, which maybe the game in concept sucked, but in terms of the bugs and stuff, like, you know, they were like, no, this has to be out in fucking November. They are that type of company. They're like, we want it in November. We want it with the competition. We want everyone to get this for the little kiddos for Christmas, all the moms and dads to buy it. They want that money now. So that is one thing about Bethesda. They don't want to wait. That's another thing that worries me. If this didn't have a release date, I would be kind of like, oh, okay, you know, they have time to delay it. Maybe people be disappointed, but no. You said November 11th. That sounds very firm in terms of their history.
Yeah, because they love releasing fucking 11th. Because that was the date that they released Skyrim on, was 11/11.
Yes, it
2011.
Yes, it is.
So that's a pretty big day for them. Like, if they'll probably try to push it out at that point.
But like Skyrim was like announced like 2 years before it came out, you know, when at the Game Awards, it was almost, maybe it was like a year and 11 months or something. Like, it was quite a bit of time. Even if it was a year, we had seen some stuff. They showed, it's
been years longer than after this game was announced that they haven't even showed anything.
So I'm officially worried about Starfield. I am concerned because I want to like it. I like the idea of an Elder Scrolls, their gameplay style in space, you know. But I don't know. Well, there's an extra topic I didn't mean to throw in there, but I saw it and I was like, I actually want to say this. Anyways, back to Game of the Year. So,
oh yeah.
Here are some of the games that might be somewhere in the argument for Game of the Year that do not have release dates that are supposed to come out this year. Bayonetta 3. Wouldn't be surprised if that gets a delay again, by the way, because one, Nintendo has a lot of games coming out this holiday already, and two, we haven't seen anything yet. Not really. Let's see what else. I don't see it yet, but we know God of War is going to be on here. Dragon Ball: The Breakers. I actually really want to try that game. I know a lot of people are like, looks stupid. And I was like, I know, it's so ridiculous. I have to see this. God of War Ragnarok. There it is. Grand Theft Auto the Trilogy on iOS and Android. Are you fucking kidding me? You can't even get the console one down. I Am Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, that's right. They're doing PlayStation 5 releases for Resident Evil 2 and 3.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So that's gonna be another platinum I'm gonna have to work towards.
Pokemon won't get it, but there's another big notable release. Wow. You know, to be honest, at this point, there's a lot of great games coming out this year. Do not get me wrong, but in terms
of
a lot
of them are going to be re-releases and just remasters.
Yeah. Well, and in terms of the Sonic Frontiers, won't get it, but there you go. There's just a lot of like AAA, or not a lot of AAA titles. Like a lot of them have been delayed, or we're still just unsure. Like Bayonetta,
the fuck is this?
And God of War, or whatever. Like. Yeah, I don't know. It's Elden Ring. I don't know what to fucking say. This is
it's a very easy choice this year.
Two competitions. God of War, I have full faith in. I mean, not just based on the last game, but that has always been a consistent series. And the people behind it, they're very smart, bright. They do innovative things. You know, the last time people were kind of iffy on God of War was like God of War 3, which got like 9s. And the only reason people were iffy on it is they're like, yeah, it's more the same. You know, that's the only thing that makes me think like, well, maybe God of War doesn't get Game of the Year. Maybe it's more of the same with some nice new, but because God of War, the last one, it's tough to beat. That is such a fantastic game.
It is.
It could have been Game of the Year a couple years over, you know. And then Bayonetta, I can't see it being that innovative, that different. I love Bayonetta. It's my favorite hack and slash. I love Platinum games, even though they're inconsistent. But I'm not looking at Platinum games or Bayonetta 3 to break any kind of molds like Elden Ring, you know, did. Understandably, Elden Ring does play very, very similar in gameplay to the Souls series, but the scope and the ability for them to do it on the scale that they did it and to have the game mostly run as well as it does and stuff, you know, it's incredible.
Yeah.
You know, that Elden Ring, even though it is on the previous gens, I believe, right? That feels like next gen. I'm like, no, that's PS5. That's Series X right there. That is what you are looking at, the capabilities of, you know, of these new consoles. So if I had to take a guess, I'll just give my one last thing. The other 4 nominees at this rate, and again, we'll do this 2 more times this year. At this rate, I would say, because we'll just go with nominees since Elden Ring's going to get Game of the Year more than likely. Nominees, God of War 2, assuming no delay. I think Bayonetta 3 will still be there. I'm gonna say Starfield for now, but it's only because of the AAA title. Like, if it wasn't, you know, and then. Even though I don't love the look of it, I still give them credit. The gameplay looked pretty solid when I saw the initial trailer, I thought at least. Saints Row, maybe those are my did I pick, so I picked God of War. Well, I guess it would only be 4, wouldn't it? So you got Elden Ring would be a nominee, God of War, I'm gonna take Saints Row over Bayonetta just based on like the grounds of like what it is but whew, even that's like there's a lot of unsurety in some of these games this year. Maybe Forspoken. I'm not really willing to say that yet. I need to see more. I'm gonna go with God of War, Elden Ring, and then also Elden Ring Game of the Year. Saints Row, Starfield. I'm just like, I'm not sure. I think, and then the indie game. I'm not even gonna attempt because I don't fucking know like what indie games and shit are coming out. So there you go. That's my 5. I think it's 5 nominees. If it's 6, I'm gonna throw Bayonetta 3 in there with it. So we'll say that. But I don't remember.
I'm gonna go a little against the tide here. Obviously, these picks won't win, but I do feel like they might get nominated.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm gonna basically say the same things that you did, except I'm gonna replace Starfield with Horizon. Because that's probably going to be put up there. It won't win, but it'll probably be put up there. And assuming it comes out this year, since you also said Bayonetta 3, I'm going to toss in the new Harry Potter game, Hogwarts Legacy.
Is that coming out this year?
It says 2022 on it.
Okay, that could be. I also kind of forget Ghostwire Tokyo. Like a lot of this is just like, okay, I'll tell you what. So the next time we do this, because we did it in January. We did it in January, right? The next time we do this, so we did April. It would be May, June, July. Let's just say August. August would be the next time we do this. I believe that's correct. If we have not seen Starfield by then or it hasn't been delayed, I'm taking that off the fucking list. I have no faith if we haven't seen anything by fucking August.
Yeah, the closer it gets to its release date and the less and less that we still have. Like, the more and more scared that you get.
I can't imagine it. Just like a game that's supposed to be that big with that much hype, and this could be another disaster if I hadn't seen Bethesda do this once before. So this is not the same company it appears that it once was. They have a bunch of studios and stuff, and they make some mistakes that are very un-Bethesda-like, and so, there you go. Man, there's so many good games coming out this year. If all of these games come out, and we know some are going to get delayed, but let's just say the ones that are supposed to, like, even the ones that have release dates this year, just that alone, this has to be one of the highest potential, because they're not out yet, so we don't exactly know, but, like, hyped years of video games ever. It's fucking insane. It's insane. I can't keep up. June alone is gonna eat my wallet. Like, my God. And then even the games that look like okay or I'm interested in, like Evil Dead, there's a shit ton of those too. There's just a shit ton of games. Like, I don't know if I've had a year like this before. It's part of partly the pandemic's fault, but my God.
Yeah. And then for the last pick, I'm going to throw in a wild pick. I'm going to say the new Kirby game as well.
I apologize. I did not realize that you had your one pick left. Yeah, that one is doing pretty solid too. So it's tough. It's tough for me to say. Right now I'm kind of going with like easy picks, but we'll see, cuz like I said, if by the end of the summer they don't have that Starfield, I'm out. I don't even.
Well, that's just it. Is like, these games that we're picking, except for Starfield, obviously, we don't have actual release dates for. So it's not like we can say for sure we pick these games.
But that was part of the fun to me of like, let's do.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I'm just like, just some of these games we don't know yet.
Too early pick. Gabe says, I'm looking forward to I Am Jesus Christ. I think I've seen the trailer to that game, and I might have mentioned that before, but I think I have.
What is this one going to be called? Is this going to be our not so early picks now?
So we have our way too early. That's a good question. Way too early pick 2022.
Sort of early pick.
Somewhat early pick. Not so early pick, and then finale. I don't know. let's move on to the next thing. We done with the game of the year award stuff? We done with that? Unless you have something else to say.
No, I'm done.
Okay.
I'm good.